The vastness of space stretched endlessly, dark and silent, dotted only by distant stars and the occasional streak of a comet. Among the millions of vessels navigating this quiet expanse, one ship moved steadily, almost like a shadow slipping between the lights of distant suns. It was small compared to the massive ships of the great empire that ruled these sectors, yet it carried something far more important than size or firepower. Its crew, human, were determined explorers with a mission that seemed simple on paper but carried weight beyond their understanding. They were traveling into unknown territory where no human had ever set foot, and they had no idea the impact they were about to make. Inside the ship, the crew worked quietly, each focused on their responsibilities. The captain's hands moved over the controls with precision, adjusting the trajectory and checking readings on the navigation screen. The ship's hum was constant, almost soothing, a reminder that despite the vast emptiness outside, they were alive and moving forward together. The air inside was warm, filled with the low murmurs of communication and the occasional beep from the instruments. They were humans, ordinary in many ways, yet extraordinary because they were daring to explore the unknown. Meanwhile, on the other side of the sector, the Empire's patrol ships detected an anomaly. Sensors picked up a signal unlike anything they had cataloged in decades of surveillance. The readings were unusual. The ship's design was unfamiliar, its energy signature weak yet sophisticated. The officers aboard the Empire's command vessel stared at the data, confusion spreading like a ripple across the control room. They had never seen anything like it. It was clearly intelligent, clearly capable of space travel, but they could not identify the species responsible. "Scan it again," one officer ordered, his voice steady but tense. The Empire had seen countless ships, hundreds of species, and thousands of designs, but this one did not match any records. The hum of machinery filled the silence as the scanners ran multiple sweeps. The crew held their breath, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on them. Then the reading came back, and the room fell silent. It was human. A wave of disbelief washed over the bridge. Humans? In this part of the galaxy? They were supposed to be a primitive species, barely able to reach the edge of their own solar system decades ago. How could they have a ship capable of traveling this far, this fast, without detection until now? The senior officers exchanged uneasy glances, and the commander's hand hovered over the communication panel, unsure whether to hail the ship or prepare defenses. The room felt frozen, as though the presence of the human vessel had stopped time itself. The Empire had long monitored humanity from a distance, considering them unremarkable, perhaps even irrelevant. They were not a threat, not a species to fear or respect. But now, here they were, in their space, fully equipped, fully functional, and moving with purpose. The anomaly had shaken every officer on the bridge, and whispers began to spread. Some questioned the sensors. Others suggested it was a trick or a disguised vessel. But all the readings were clear. It was human inside the human ship. None of this was known. The crew had their own concerns, small problems that seemed monumental in the vast emptiness of space. A minor leak in the fuel regulator had caused a slight drop in power, and the engineer had been working silently to fix it. The navigator noticed an unusual gravitational fluctuation nearby, likely a planet or a passing asteroid, and adjusted the course accordingly. Every small action mattered, because out here, mistakes were deadly. The humans moved with caution, but also with confidence. A combination the Empire had never expected from a species they thought. Primitive. As the ship moved closer to the Empire's patrol zone, alarms began to ring on the Empire's side. Sensors indicated that the human ship was maintaining a stable course, showing no signs of evasion or aggression. It was almost as if the humans did not understand the danger they were in, or perhaps they did and simply did not care. The Empire's officers could not decide whether to prepare an attack or attempt communication. The tension was thick, almost suffocating, and the room was filled with quiet murmurs and nervous glances. The commander finally spoke, his voice low but firm. "Prepare to engage if necessary. Do not underestimate them. We do not know their capabilities." The crew obeyed, their hands moving over controls, weapons primed but not yet aimed. Everyone in the room felt a strange combination of fear and curiosity. They had faced dangerous species before, but nothing like this. Humans had always been underestimated, their technology assumed inferior, their abilities dismissed. Now, all assumptions were being questioned in real time. Back on the human ship, the crew remained unaware of the stir they had caused. They were focused on their mission, to explore, to learn, to establish contact if possible. The captain glanced at the viewscreen, noting the distant lights of large ships approaching. The sensors were picking up massive vessels ahead, but the humans had no way of knowing the full scale of the Empire's presence. They only knew that this was the next step in their journey, and they needed to proceed with caution and intelligence. The Empire watched as the human vessel approached. Its speed was steady, its trajectory unwavering. No evasive maneuvers, no sudden bursts of energy. The humans seemed confident, almost naive in their movements. But there was an undeniable precision in the way the ship moved, a calculated grace that suggested intelligence and careful planning. The officers could not help but feel a mixture of awe and fear. This small species, once thought insignificant, had shown something remarkable: control, focus, and a clear purpose in their actions. A discussion began among the Empire's high-ranking officers. Could they have advanced this far on their own? One asked, disbelief heavy in their voice. Or is this the result of outside assistance? Another officer shook their head. It doesn't matter. The fact is they are here, fully operational, and they are humans. We cannot ignore them. We need to decide, contact or containment. Arguments continued, voices rising, yet no one could agree. The presence of humans had created uncertainty, and uncertainty was dangerous in a military command. Minutes stretched like hours as the human ship drew nearer. The crew inside remained calm, unaware of the storm they had stirred. They followed protocols, checked instruments, and prepared for any possible scenario. For them, space travel was about survival, discovery, and learning. They had never imagined that their simple mission would cause panic in one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy. And yet, that is exactly what was happening. Finally, the Empire's sensors confirmed every detail. The ship was entirely human, every component identifiable, every system functioning perfectly. The room erupted in a mixture of awe and alarm. No one could remember the last time humans had appeared in their space with this level of sophistication. The realization was clear. Humans were not what the Empire had thought. They were not primitive. They were capable, intelligent, and far more resilient than anyone had ever imagined. The commander leaned back in his chair, a rare moment of hesitation crossing his face. He had faced countless threats, seen countless species, yet nothing prepared him for this moment. Humans, so small and underestimated, had arrived unannounced, and now the Empire had to respond carefully. Any misstep could change the balance of power. Any aggressive move could provoke consequences they could not predict. And so, the room remained tense, frozen in that instant, waiting for the humans to make their next move, unaware that the humans were also waiting, just as determined, just as focused, and just as human. This was only the beginning. The small human ship, moving steadily through the void, was about to challenge assumptions, redefine expectations, and leave an unforgettable mark on the galaxy. Neither the Empire nor the humans knew the full extent of what was coming. But in that frozen moment of recognition, one truth was clear. Humans had arrived. and the universe would never look at them the same way again. The Empire's command room buzzed with a quiet tension that was almost unbearable. Every officer's eyes were fixed on the screens, where the human ship glided steadily through space. The readings confirmed it again and again. This was not a trick, not a disguise, not a miscalculation. The ship was human. Every panel, every system, every signature confirmed it. The realization sent ripples of disbelief through the Empire's ranks. Many had studied humanity, believed they understood the species, and dismissed them as weak, unworthy, and insignificant. But now, standing in their space, humans had proven that the Empire had been wrong. Senior officials whispered among themselves, their voices low, hesitant. "It matches the old archives," one said, shaking his head. "It's the ship from the historical records, the one humanity supposedly lost decades ago." A murmur ran through the room. For the Empire, that ship was more than just a vessel. It was a legend, a story that had circulated for years, almost forgotten, a tale of ambition and failure. No one had expected to see it alive, intact, and under human control. The commander stared at the screens, his face tight with concentration. "How is this possible?" he muttered under his breath. "They shouldn't even have the technology to repair it, let alone navigate it across the outer sectors." But the data was irrefutable. The ship's engines, shields, and navigation systems were all functioning perfectly. It was as though humans had learned, adapted, and evolved faster than anyone had predicted. The Empire had always underestimated them, and this moment proved just how wrong they had been. Meanwhile, aboard the human ship, the crew remained unaware of the stir they had caused. They were focused, careful, and methodical. Their mission was simple on the surface: to explore, to learn, and to make contact if possible. But behind the simplicity lay immense pressure. They were deep in uncharted space, where even the smallest mistake could mean disaster. The captain reviewed the charts, double-checked the instruments, and made minor adjustments to the ship's trajectory. The crew moved like a well-rehearsed team, their confidence evident but tempered with caution. A navigator pointed to a cluster of stars and said, "We'll pass close to that system. It should provide a stable gravitational corridor for the next jump." The captain nodded, appreciating the human instinct to rely on natural patterns and simple observations rather than complex algorithms alone. Humans, despite their limitations compared to many advanced species, had a unique way of combining intuition and logic. That blend had always helped them survive, and now it was allowing them to traverse space with precision that even the Empire had not expected. Back in the Empire's command room, discussions became heated. Some officers wanted to attack immediately, believing the humans could be a threat despite their small size. Others argued for observation, for careful monitoring, suggesting that the humans might not even understand the danger they were in. "They are human," one advisor insisted. "We've always underestimated them. That is our mistake. We cannot afford to act recklessly." The commander leaned forward, his hands clasped tightly. "We must confirm their intentions before making any moves. We cannot underestimate them again. If they are here without fear, without aggression, there must be a reason. Find out what it is, quietly, without alerting them to our presence." The orders were precise and careful. Every action had to be measured, every decision weighed. Humanity had stepped into their space, and now the Empire had to respond with strategy rather than assumption. As the human ship moved closer to the Empire's borders, the crew began to notice subtle anomalies. Sensor readings fluctuated unpredictably. Signals appeared and disappeared without explanation. The captain frowned. "We are approaching a sector that is heavily monitored," they said. "Keep shields ready, but maintain course. We do not want to provoke anything." The crew adjusted their positions, eyes scanning displays, ears tuned to the faint hum of the engines. Every subtle vibration mattered in this delicate environment. The Empire's observation vessels remained hidden at first, allowing the humans to continue on their course. They wanted to study them, understand them, and figure out how a species they had long dismissed could have achieved so much. Every detail of the human ship was analyzed. The energy output, the speed, the shielding, even the way the crew interacted with the instruments. It became clear that these humans were not just surviving, they were thriving. Inside the human ship, the crew was unaware of how closely they were being watched. They focused on navigation, on maintaining systems, on the routine tasks that kept them alive in deep space. Each crew member carried a quiet pride in what they had achieved. They were humans, venturing further than any of their kind had dared, and every successful maneuver reinforced their confidence. Yet there was no arrogance, only determination and an understanding of their limitations. That balance between courage and humility was what made them remarkable. The Empire continued its scans, and with each passing minute, the officers' astonishment grew. "Look at the precision of their navigation," one whispered. "And the energy efficiency. I don't understand how they sustain this over such distance." Another shook his head. "It is as if they were always meant to be here, despite everything we thought we knew." Fear mingled with admiration. Humans were no longer a species to dismiss. They were unpredictable, capable, and possibly dangerous. Some in the command room suggested making contact, to send a signal and test the humans' intentions. Others cautioned that contact could be risky, that humans might misinterpret signals or react unpredictably. After long deliberation, the commander made a decision. "Prepare a communication probe," he ordered. "We do not know their intentions, but we need to learn more." Quietly, without confrontation, the team moved swiftly, preparing a probe capable of transmitting and receiving data without revealing the full presence of the Empire's forces. The humans, still unaware of the Empire's attention, continued on their path. They relied on sensors, intuition, and a deep understanding of space mechanics to navigate the sector safely. Every maneuver was calculated, but every calculation had a human element: creativity, quick thinking, and a readiness to adapt to the unexpected. These were not machines, yet their performance rivaled the Empire's most advanced vessel's dot as the probe moved closer to the human ship. The Empire watched every response with anticipation. The ship continued its path unaltered, ignoring the minor interference caused by the probe. The humans were focused entirely on their mission, confident in their skills and trusting in one another. The Empire began to realize that these humans were different from anything they had encountered. They were not just resilient, they were intelligent, resourceful, and capable of maintaining composure under pressure. The commander finally spoke, almost to himself. "They are more than we believed. Perhaps more than we are ready to understand." The room fell silent. Every officer sensed the gravity of the situation. Humans had always been underestimated, and now that mistake could not be repeated. The simple act of entering the Empire's space had forced them to reevaluate everything they thought they knew. Back on the human ship, the crew remained unaware of the Empire's scrutiny. Their focus was on the mission, on survival, and on the tiny hope of achieving something meaningful in the vast darkness of space. Every small success, every correct calculation, reinforced their confidence and determination. They were humans, ordinary in many ways, yet extraordinary because they dared to face the unknown with courage, intelligence, and unity. The Empire continued to monitor them, and with each passing moment, the tension grew. Humans, who had once been dismissed, had arrived in their space fully equipped, fully capable, and moving with purpose. The Empire had no choice but to recognize their presence, to respect their skill, and to prepare for the possibility that humans might change the balance of power in ways they could not yet imagine. As the human ship moved steadily onward, it became clear that this was more than a simple mission. It was a challenge to assumptions, a test of courage, and a proof of human capability. Neither the humans nor the Empire knew what would come next, but both felt the weight of the moment. The humans were moving forward with quiet confidence, and the Empire was watching, frozen in awe, wondering how such a small species could hold such power and potential. This was only the beginning. The human ship, moving with steady purpose, was about to reshape the Empire's understanding of humanity. Every decision, every calculation, every human instinct had brought them here, and now the galaxy was paying attention. The story of their arrival would ripple through the Empire for years, a tale of surprise, respect, and a reminder that even the smallest species can leave an unforgettable mark on the universe. The human crew had been traveling through deep space for days, and though the darkness around them was endless, their spirits were alive with curiosity. Every glance at the stars reminded them that they were stepping where few, if any, humans had ever stepped before. For them, this was not just a mission. It was a test of courage, skill, and endurance. The captain, a figure of calm authority, moved through the cabin with quiet confidence, checking instruments and observing the crew, ensuring that everyone stayed focused but not tense. There was an unspoken understanding among them. Each person had a role, each person mattered, and together, they could navigate dangers no one else had faced. The engineer was hunched over a panel, adjusting a minor calibration in the ship's energy flow. Every system had to function perfectly, or the consequences could be disastrous. Space offered no forgiveness, and the crew knew this well. Yet, despite the constant threat of failure, there was a shared sense of accomplishment in their work. Every calculation was precise, every adjustment deliberate. The ship, though old by the Empire's standards, moved with the elegance of a living organism, responsive to the humans guiding it with care and skill. Outside, the Empire's patrol vessels continued to observe, hidden in the shadows. The officers aboard the Empire's ships were astonished at the humans' efficiency. The small crew moved as one, anticipating each other's actions and communicating with an understanding that went beyond technology. Some of the Empire's commanders began to murmur in disbelief. "They operate almost like a single mind," one said quietly. "It's uncanny. How can a species so young in space achieve such coordination?" Others nodded, their expressions a mix of fear and admiration. The humans were proving, in every way, that they were capable of far more than anyone had imagined. Inside the human ship, the crew began noticing subtle disturbances in the space around them. Sensors picked up faint signals that did not match natural phenomena or known human technology. The captains studied the readings, frowning. "We're not alone," they said simply, but without panic. The crew stiffened slightly, alert but calm. They were explorers, trained to expect the unexpected, and their discipline showed in the way they prepared for whatever might appear. Shields were reinforced, systems monitored, and every crew member assumed their assigned role. The navigator pointed to a nearby cluster of asteroids and said, "These readings could be interference, but we need to maintain a safe course. Let's use the natural gravitational paths to minimize exposure." A captain nodded, appreciating the human instinct to rely on observation, logic, and experience rather than overcomplicated computations alone. Humans, despite their limitations compared to more advanced species, had a knack for improvisation, for adapting to the unknown with speed and intelligence. This adaptability was precisely what made them so dangerous in the eyes of the Empire, even if the humans themselves had no intention of threatening anyone. The Empire watched, hidden but intensely focused. Every minor maneuver, every decision made by the humans, was noted and analyzed. Officers began to realize that the human skills were not just technical. They were strategic. The humans anticipated dangers before they arrived, avoided unnecessary risks, and maintained control even under pressure. One officer muttered to another, "They're thinking several steps ahead, like seasoned tacticians." We underestimated them for far too long. The room was tense. Fear, admiration, and uncertainty mingled in a way that left every officer on edge. A quiet conversation began among the human crew. The captain spoke in a calm, steady tone. "We need to remain aware, but we cannot let fear guide us. This is exploration. Curiosity, not aggression, is our strength." The crew nodded, silently agreeing. They were humans, and they knew the importance of maintaining composure, especially when facing the unknown. There was a quiet confidence in the room, a sense that they were capable of handling whatever space might throw at them. Each person understood their responsibility, not just to the mission, but to each other. Back on the Empire's side, tensions escalated. Some officers argued that the humans could not be left unchecked. If they reached the inner sectors, they could destabilize everything, one said sharply. Others insisted that the humans' approach was clearly non-hostile. That aggression could trigger a conflict the Empire was not prepared to face. "We cannot assume their intentions are dangerous," another replied. "Look at their movements. They're careful, deliberate, and cautious. They are explorers, not invaders." The debate raged on, highlighting the Empire's struggle to reconcile their long-held assumptions about humanity with the evidence before them. The humans continued their journey, approaching a region of space that had long been unexplored by any known civilization. The sensors picked up faint energy readings, possibly remnants of ancient activity or natural phenomena not yet documented. The crew shared a quiet excitement. Every signal was a mystery to solve. Every fluctuation, a puzzle that could teach them more about the universe and their place within it. Despite the constant risks, there was joy in discovery. A reminder that exploration was as much about learning as it was about survival. The engineer spoke up, pointing to a screen displaying a series of anomalies. These fluctuations could interfere with navigation if we're not careful. We need to adjust the energy output to maintain stability. The captain nodded and gave precise instructions, balancing risk with caution. Every adjustment was a small triumph, every correction a demonstration of human ingenuity. The human's ability to respond to the unpredictable, to manage complexity while remaining calm, continued to impress even if no one outside the ship yet realized it. The Empire's surveillance team grew more anxious. Every small success of the humans became a point of concern. "They are too precise, too careful," one officer said. "They behave like they know exactly what they are doing. It is unnatural for a species so primitive in technology." Others nodded, recognizing that their long-held beliefs about humans had been completely upended. For centuries, humanity had been underestimated. Now, every decision, every calculation, every action reinforced that the Empire had misjudged them entirely. Inside the human ship, the crew finally reached a point where the gravitational forces of a nearby planetary system could be used to accelerate their journey. The captain studied the patterns carefully. "We can use this corridor," they said, "but only if we remain vigilant. Any misstep could send us off course or expose us to unknown risks." The crew prepared, adjusting systems, checking shields, and confirming calculations. There was no fear, only careful attention and a quiet confidence that had been earned through experience and trust. The humans moved with precision, weaving through gravitational currents and minor asteroid fields. Every adjustment was small but critical, every decision deliberate. They maintained constant communication, sharing observations and insights in a calm, structured manner. Their teamwork was seamless, their skills complementary, and their focus unwavering. For the humans, it was routine, yet for the Empire watching, it was astonishing. No other species had displayed such a combination of intelligence, discipline, and adaptability in this region of space. The Empire continued to debate their next move. Some officers pushed for an aggressive approach, fearing that the humans' progress might lead to unforeseen consequences. Others argued for caution, emphasizing that observation and understanding were crucial before taking action. The commander, sensing the gravity of the moment, decided on patience. "We must learn from them before we act," he said. "Every detail matters. Underestimating them again could be catastrophic." The officers reluctantly agreed, though tension and doubt lingered. Meanwhile, the human crew, unaware of the Empire's deliberations, continued to navigate with calm determination. They relied on observation, calculation, and experience to make their way through the sector. Every maneuver was small, deliberate, and careful, yet collectively they formed a symphony of precision that allowed the humans to move farther and faster than anyone had expected. They were explorers, pioneers, and survivors. Their mission was not just a journey through space. It was a testament to what humans could achieve when courage, intelligence, and teamwork came together. As the hours passed, the humans approached the edge of the sector, where the signals from the Empire's observation vessels became slightly stronger. The crew noticed minor interference, but could not identify the source. Still, they pressed forward, trusting in their skills and their ship. Their focus never wavered. Every adjustment, every calculation, every shared observation reinforced their ability to remain calm under pressure. It was this combination of skill, discipline, and human intuition that made them extraordinary, and that would soon force the Empire to reconsider everything they believed about humanity. By the time the human ship reached the edge of the Empire's monitored space, it was clear that they had not only survived, but had done so with remarkable efficiency. Their presence, though small and unassuming, had begun to challenge assumptions, inspire admiration, and provoke fear. The Empire realized that these humans were not just explorers. They were capable, adaptable, and determined. And yet, the humans themselves remained unaware of the full impact of their journey. They were focused entirely on their mission, on discovery, on the thrill. The Empire's command room was alive with tension, but it was not the familiar kind of energy that came with battle. This was different, nervous, uncertain, and charged with curiosity. The officers stared at the monitors showing the human ship, trying to make sense of what they were witnessing. Every motion, every calculation, every minor adjustment made by the humans seemed deliberate, precise, and confident. It was almost like the humans were aware of being watched, even though the Empire had made no move to reveal themselves. This subtle awareness unnerved the officers more than any attack could have. "Why are they so precise?" one officer muttered, shaking his head. "They move with purpose, but they do not seem aggressive. It's unlike any species we've encountered." Others nodded, their expressions a mix of disbelief and admiration. No one could deny the human skill, but fear lingered in the room. Fear of the unknown, fear of misjudgment, and fear of what humanity might be capable of. For decades, the Empire had underestimated humans, thinking them slow, weak, and insignificant. That assumption had just been shattered. The commander leaned back in his chair, his hands folded tightly. He had faced countless alien species, some far more advanced, some dangerous beyond measure. But humans were different. They had been underestimated for so long that no one had truly expected them to succeed. And yet, here they were, moving confidently through territory the Empire considered theirs. He felt a strange mixture of respect and caution, understanding that any rash action could provoke a chain reaction that no one was prepared to handle. "Prepare the observation probes," he finally ordered. "We need complete data on their systems, crew behavior, and technology. Every detail matters. Do not engage yet. Let us understand them first." The officers obeyed, their fingers moving over controls with precision, sending small, nearly invisible probes toward the human ship. The probes would gather information without alerting the humans, allowing the Empire to study them closely. Every officer in the room understood the importance of this mission. This was not about dominance. It was about understanding, about preparing, for a future that might depend on how well they interpreted human capability. Meanwhile, the human crew continued their journey, entirely unaware of the probes. They were focused on navigation, on survival, and on the mission that had brought them so far from home. The captain reviewed the charts, noticing subtle gravitational shifts and energy anomalies that required attention. "Adjust course slightly," they said calmly. "We'll use the natural currents to conserve energy. Every small choice matters." The crew moved seamlessly, making precise adjustments, monitoring systems, and sharing observations in quiet, coordinated conversation. The navigator pointed out a minor interference on the sensors. "These readings are unusual. They don't match natural activity, and they don't appear to be from known ships. We should stay cautious." The captain nodded. "Keep monitoring, but do not overreact. Our focus is the mission, not speculation." Every crew member understood the importance of calm, rational decisions. They were explorers, not warriors. Their strength lay in intelligence, teamwork, and careful observation qualities that often went unnoticed by more aggressive species. As the humans continued, the Empire's officers grew more unsettled. The subtle movements of the human ship seemed almost deliberate, as if the crew had a deeper understanding of the surrounding space than even the Empire had anticipated. "Are adapting faster than we predicted," one officer whispered. "And they are not panicking. Not one of them. That is unusual." Another nodded. "Yes, they are focused, disciplined, and extremely aware of their environment. We cannot make assumptions about them anymore." The commander understood the implications. Humans were proving that assumptions based on past experience were no longer reliable. Every movement, every decision, and every reaction had to be interpreted carefully. The Empire had always relied on technology, overwhelming force, and historical data to dominate the galaxy. Humans, however, brought unpredictability, adaptability, and intelligence that could not be measured simply by firepower or size. This realization weighed heavily on the leadership. Inside the human ship, the crew was approaching a region of space where gravitational turbulence could be tricky. The captain studied the readings carefully. "We'll use the gravitational currents to our advantage," they said. "Follow my lead and make small adjustments as needed. Stay calm, stay precise." The engineer monitored the energy flow, making minute adjustments to ensure stability. The navigator recalculated trajectories, accounting for each gravitational shift. The humans were ordinary in appearance, but their collective skill, focus, and intuition made them extraordinary. The Empire's probes continued to collect data, recording every detail of the humans' movements. Officers reviewed live feeds, noting how the crew worked together seamlessly, anticipated obstacles, and reacted calmly to unexpected changes. One officer whispered, "It's almost as if they are reading each other's minds. Their coordination is incredible." Another added, "And yet they are still human. They are not machines, not enhanced in any way we can detect. This is natural ability." The room was silent for a moment, the weight of their discovery settling over them. The humans, unaware of the Empire's scrutiny, began to encounter subtle challenges in space. Small asteroid fields required precise navigation. Minor energy fluctuations demanded immediate attention. And yet, the crew handled each situation calmly, with quiet confidence. No panic, no arguments, only clear thinking and teamwork. Every action reinforced the idea that humans, despite being considered primitive, were capable of navigating complexity in ways that few others could. The captain addressed the crew quietly. "Every move we make here is important. Stay alert, but do not let fear guide you. Observe, adapt, and act with intention. The crew nodded, understanding the importance of these words. They were human, and that meant they could make mistakes, but it also meant they had the ability to learn, adapt, and overcome. Their journey was a combination of skill, intuition, and trust in each other. The Empire's leadership debated what to do next. Some argued that they should make contact, believing that humans' deliberate approach indicated peaceful intentions. Others cautioned that any engagement could be risky, as humans were unpredictable. The commander considered both sides carefully. We cannot make assumptions. Let us watch and learn. Contact will come only when we are ready, and only if we are certain of the outcome. The officers obeyed, though tension remained high. Every observation of the humans revealed more capability than anticipated, challenging centuries of prejudice and assumptions. Back on the human ship, the crew noticed faint traces of energy signals that did not match any known pattern. The navigator said, "These signals are subtle, almost like whispers. We should keep moving carefully, just in case." The captain nodded. "Good observation. Keep adjusting and monitoring. Nothing aggressive yet, just awareness." There. Approach was cautious but confident, each person aware of their surroundings and of each other. This calm, disciplined response was precisely what had caused the Empire's initial shock and fear. As the humans advanced, the Empire's officers continued to analyze their behavior. "Every decision they make is deliberate yet flexible," one officer noted. "They anticipate changes before they happen." "How is this possible?" Another replied, "It's human ingenuity. They adapt, improvise, and coordinate as a team, and it works." The realization was sobering. The humans were not only surviving. In unfamiliar and potentially dangerous space, they were thriving, and the Empire had no idea how far their capabilities might extend. The humans continued to rely on observation, experience, and intuition. Each small success built confidence, and the crew's quiet competence inspired mutual trust. They did not know they were being watched, but the Empire was taking note of every detail. The humans' combination of intelligence, adaptability, and calm focus was unlike anything the Empire had seen, and the implications were profound. Hours passed as the humans navigated through the challenging sector. Every obstacle was met with careful adjustment, every fluctuation handled with precision, and every member of the crew contributed to the collective effort. The Empire continued to observe in awe, realizing that the humans were more than explorers. They were a species capable of extraordinary cooperation, intelligence, and resilience. Finally, as the humans moved into a slightly calmer region of space, the Empire's officers could no longer deny their growing respect. The humans had demonstrated skill, composure, and intelligence that had forced the Empire to reconsider their assumptions. What had started as a simple mission of exploration had become a testament to human capability, a challenge to the Empire's long-held beliefs, and a subtle warning that humans could not be underestimated. The captain, unaware of the Empire's reaction, addressed the crew once more. "We have handled this sector well. Continue to observe, continue to adapt, and continue to trust in each other. This is only the beginning, but we are proving that humans can step where few have dared." The crew nodded, silent but proud. Their journey was far from over, but their unity, skill, and intelligence had already begun to leave a mark on the galaxy. The Empire, still hidden in the shadows, watched silently. Humans, underestimated for centuries, had. The human ship drifted closer to the edge of the Empire's core territory, a region tightly controlled and closely monitored for decades. The stars outside seemed calm, almost serene, but inside the ship, the crew felt the weight of the unknown pressing on them. Every movement was careful, every decision deliberate, yet there was an unspoken excitement in the air. They were humans, ordinary in appearance, but extraordinary in courage and intelligence, moving where no one had ventured before. Each crew member understood the importance of the mission, not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. The captain leaned over the navigation panel, eyes scanning the data. "We're approaching a controlled sector," they said quietly, almost to themselves. "We need to be cautious. The readings suggest heavy monitoring. Maintain course, but stay ready for anything." The crew responded immediately, adjusting shields, running system checks, and monitoring every signal with quiet efficiency. Despite the tension, there was no panic. Humans had a remarkable ability to remain calm under pressure, to focus on solutions rather than fear. It was this calm intelligence that had carried them this far, and that would continue to guide them far beyond their sensors. The Empire's command room was in a state of quiet chaos. The humans were approaching territory that no one had thought possible for their species. Some officers suggested an aggressive maneuver, claiming that the humans might pose a threat simply by being here. Others cautioned that the humans' careful approach suggested intelligence and strategy rather than aggression. "We cannot risk underestimating them again," one officer warned. "Every move they make is deliberate. They are not reckless. They are thinking several steps ahead." The commander nodded gravely. "Observation only," he ordered. "We will not reveal our presence. Let them continue. Let us understand them fully before acting. Their intentions are unclear, and that is dangerous enough." The officers obeyed, though unease lingered. Watching humans had become a strange mixture of fascination and fear. They were a species so underestimated that the Empire had assumed they would fail or retreat long before reaching this point. And yet here they were, navigating with precision, awareness, and calm confidence. Inside the human ship, the crew noticed subtle disturbances on the sensors. Signals flickered in ways that did not match natural phenomena, but there was no overt threat. The captain studied the readings carefully. "We are being monitored," they said quietly. "I don't know by whom or why, but stay calm. Adjust course slightly, but maintain the mission's integrity." The crew moved as one, executing orders without hesitation. They had trained for unknown conditions, and their teamwork made them capable of handling challenges that would overwhelm less coordinated crews. The navigator observed the signals with interest. "The interference is subtle," they noted. "It doesn't seem harmful. Whoever is observing us is careful. They are studying, not attacking." The captain nodded. "Exactly. That tells us something important. We are noticed, but not considered a threat yet. Let's use this opportunity to learn and adapt." The humans relied on their natural curiosity, observation, and intelligence. They did not panic or assume the worst. They understood that survival depended on calm decision-making and clear thinking, even in situations that seemed beyond comprehension. Meanwhile, the Empire continued its careful observation. Officers analyzed every movement, every adjustment, and every subtle response from the humans. "They anticipate obstacles before they appear," one whispered. "They are calm, coordinated, and deliberate. This is beyond what we expected from a species so young in interstellar travel." Another officer nodded. "They are explorers, not warriors. Yet their skill suggests they could be formidable if challenged. We must treat them with caution and respect." Fear mixed with admiration, creating an atmosphere of tense wonder in the command room. The humans reached a region where gravitational currents could be used to accelerate their journey safely. The captain instructed the crew to take advantage of this, but only with careful adjustments. "Use the currents," they said, "but stay vigilant. Small errors could have big consequences." The engineer monitored energy output, making slight corrections to maintain stability. The navigator recalculated trajectories continuously, accounting for every minor fluctuation. Each crew member contributed to the success, and each adjustment, though small, combined to create a flawless execution of a complex maneuver. The Empire's officers watched in silence. Every movement, every decision, and every calculation impressed them. Humans had always been underestimated, dismissed as weak and unremarkable. Now, however, they were proving that intelligence, adaptability, and teamwork could surpass the expectations of even the most advanced civilizations. One officer murmured, "They are not just surviving, they are excelling in a space we thought was beyond them." Another added, "And they do it without arrogance, without aggression. That is what makes them remarkable." As the humans prepared to make their first cautious approach toward the inner edge of the Empire's sector, a small communication signal was detected on their instruments. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but clearly artificial. The captain's eyes narrowed. "We are being hailed," they said calmly. "Keep shields ready, but respond. This may be the first direct contact." The crew moved swiftly, checking systems, adjusting energy distribution, and preparing for a careful, controlled response. The moment was tense, but the humans' training and discipline allowed them to act with precision rather than panic. The signal grew stronger, forming into a clear message. The voice was formal, measured, and unfamiliar. It was not hostile, but it was filled with authority. "Identify yourselves," the message demanded. "State your origin and purpose immediately." The captain took a deep breath. "This is a human vessel," they replied steadily. "We are explorers. Our mission is peaceful. We seek knowledge, understanding, and safe passage through your territory." The response was calm, clear, and precise, reflecting the human crew's careful approach and respect for the unknown. The Empire's command room watched the exchange in tense silence. No one had expected the humans to respond so confidently, so clearly, and without fear. "They speak without hesitation," one officer whispered. "And they are honest. That is rare." Another shook their head. "Yet we cannot know their true intentions." Their ability to remain calm suggests intelligence and caution. "We must proceed carefully." The debate continued, but the initial impression was clear. Humans were far more capable than anyone had assumed. Inside the human ship, the crew waited as the message was processed. They maintained their composure, observing the sensors for any hint of aggression. The captain spoke quietly. "Do not assume hostility. Observe, respond respectfully, and maintain our mission. Our strength is in our discipline and understanding." The crew nodded, following orders with quiet precision. Every action was deliberate, every word carefully chosen. They were humans, and their strength lay not in aggression, but in intelligence, cooperation, and calm focus. The Empire's voice returned, slower this time, less rigid. "We recognize your presence," it said. "You have entered territory that has been considered secure for centuries. Your vessel, your crew, and your technology are unexpected. We require further information to determine your purpose and capabilities." The humans responded with honesty and clarity, explaining their mission, their peaceful intentions, and their desire for knowledge. Every word was measured, reflecting their discipline and understanding of the situation. The Empire's officers exchanged uneasy glances. The humans were transparent, confident, and precise. Their responses suggested not only intelligence, but strategic thinking, adaptability, and a calm awareness of potential threats. "They are remarkable," one officer admitted. "We underestimated them for too long. They are capable of much more than we imagined." The commander nodded, understanding that this first contact was more than just a routine observation. It was the beginning of a new understanding between species, a subtle yet powerful shift in the galaxy's balance. The humans, still focused on their mission, prepared for further communication. They remained polite, clear, and non-threatening, emphasizing exploration, understanding, and cooperation. They did not boast, they did not threaten, and they did not show fear. Their calm intelligence and honesty were qualities that the Empire had rarely encountered, and they were immediately noted as extraordinary. Finally, the Empire's voice spoke again, slower, more deliberate. "We acknowledge your presence. Your technology and behavior indicate skill, intelligence, and discipline. You are not as we assumed. Further contact will be arranged under careful observation. You are expected to maintain course and follow our instructions. Any deviation will be considered a breach of protocol." The humans listened attentively, their calm focus unbroken. "Understood," the captain replied. "We will proceed carefully and respectfully. Our mission remains peaceful and exploratory." As the communication ended, a quiet tension lingered in both the human ship and the Empire's command room. Humans had made their first contact with the Empire directly, and it had gone remarkably well. Their discipline, intelligence, and honesty had left an impression far greater than anyone had expected. For the humans, it was just the next step in their mission. For the Empire, it was a moment of reckoning. The human ship continued on its path, moving steadily through the Empire's controlled sector. The stars outside seemed familiar, yet the crew knew that nothing about this journey was ordinary. Every system, every sensor, every calculation mattered. They were venturing where few had ever dared, in a region dominated by a species that had always assumed humans would never reach this far. But here they were, ordinary humans with extraordinary resolve, navigating the unknown with calm precision and courage. The captain stood at the center of the control room, observing the crew. Each member worked with quiet focus, monitoring systems, adjusting calculations, and communicating with one another in short, precise phrases. There was no panic, no confusion, only discipline and unity. Every action, no matter how small, contributed to the ship's safe passage through dangerous territory. The crew relied on intelligence, intuition, and trust in each other. Their strength lay not in weapons or size, but in the power of human cooperation and determination. From a distance, the Empire's observation fleet followed quietly. The officers were tense, but impressed, still trying to comprehend the humans' capabilities. "They continue without fear," one officer said, disbelief in their voice. "And they do it flawlessly. They anticipate every risk and adapt in ways that we cannot predict." Another nodded. "Yes, and they maintain calm and discipline, even in our presence. Their strength is intelligence, teamwork, and courage. This is unlike anything we've seen." The Empire had underestimated humans for centuries, assuming them weak and unremarkable. Now, they were forced to recognize that humanity could not be dismissed. As the humans approached the central communication hub of the Empire, a larger signal was detected. This time, it was an official hail, more formal and authoritative than before. The captain prepared the crew for a careful response. "Stay calm," they instructed. "We are being contacted directly by the Empire. Our response must be clear, respectful, and honest. Remember, our strength is our discipline and integrity." The crew nodded, moving efficiently to manage shields, systems, and communication channels. The Empire's voice transmitted, clear and measured. "Human vessel, you have entered territory that has long been considered off-limits. Your presence has been noted, and your behavior observed. You have demonstrated intelligence, discipline, and courage that surpass expectations. State your purpose and intentions for this sector." The captain replied steadily, without hesitation. "We are explorers," they said. "Our mission is peaceful. We seek knowledge, understanding, and safe passage. We intend no aggression or disruption. We are here to observe, learn, and share knowledge where possible." There was a pause on the other side, a silence that felt heavy with consideration. The Empire's officers reviewed every detail, analyzing the humans' behavior and responses. The humans had answered honestly, calmly, and respectfully. They had not threatened, not boasted, not attempted to hide anything. And yet, their confidence and skill were undeniable. They are not primitive, one officer admitted quietly. They are capable, intelligent, and adaptive. We misjudged them entirely. Another added, yes, they have the potential to influence the balance in ways we did not anticipate. We must approach this carefully. The Empire's commander made a decision. We will allow them to proceed under supervision, he said. Their presence cannot be ignored, but they have proven their discipline and intelligence. Let this be the beginning of monitored contact. Record everything and prepare to communicate formally. This is unprecedented. The officers acknowledged the order. The humans had not only survived this far, they had earned the attention and cautious respect of an empire that had long dismissed them. Inside the human ship, the crew continued to navigate carefully, aware that their actions were being monitored. They maintained course, adjusted for gravitational anomalies, and communicated calmly with one another. Every move was precise yet. The atmosphere was not tense. It was focused, purposeful, and quietly proud. They had traveled farther than any human before them, and had entered space that many considered off-limits. Every calculation, every adjustment, every careful maneuver reinforced their reputation as capable explorers. The captain addressed the crew. "We are being watched," they said, "and soon we will have direct contact. Maintain discipline, stay calm, and be honest. Our success depends on clarity and integrity. Remember, we are humans, and our strength lies in intelligence, cooperation, and courage." The crew nodded. They understood that this moment was historic, not only for their mission, but for humanity as a whole. The Empire's communication returned. "Human crew, you have demonstrated competence and calm under conditions that would challenge even the most advanced species. Your behavior is being formally noted. We recognize your potential and intend to study your species further. You will be escorted safely through the sector, and further contact will be arranged." The captain responded, keeping their voice steady and respectful. "We understand and accept your guidance. Our intention remains peaceful, and we will follow instructions carefully." For the first time, the Empire allowed the human ship to pass under escorted observation. The humans moved with quiet confidence, following protocols while maintaining focus on their mission. Each adjustment, each observation, each calculation showed intelligence and calm under pressure. The Empire watched closely, learning more about humans with every passing moment. Officers whispered among themselves, struggling to reconcile their centuries-long assumptions with the undeniable capabilities of the human crew. The journey through the Empire's sector was tense, yet the humans continued with remarkable precision. They navigated asteroid fields, minor gravitational anomalies, and fluctuating energy currents without panic or error. Every crew member played their part, demonstrating teamwork, intelligence, and intuition. The Empire's fleet remained close enough to monitor, but far enough to allow freedom of movement. This delicate balance of observation and non-interference gave both sides insight into each other. The humans' calm confidence and disciplined actions left a lasting impression on the Empire's officers. "Their composure is extraordinary," one noted. "They are disciplined, intelligent, and cooperative, yet they are humans. Their potential cannot be ignored." Another added, "We underestimated them for too long. They have arrived here, not as conquerors, but as explorers, and they have earned our cautious respect." Inside the human ship, the crew began noticing subtle changes in sensor readings. Energy levels in the sector were stabilizing, likely due to the Empire's escorting vessels creating a controlled environment. The captain instructed the crew to maintain course and continue monitoring. "Observe, but do not interfere. Stay focused on the mission. Our path is steady, our intent is clear, and our actions must remain disciplined. The crew nodded, appreciating the clarity and calm of their leadership. As the human ship passed through the final controlled systems, the Empire allowed them greater autonomy. The crew moved through the sector with efficiency and confidence, their skills evident to any observer. The Empire's officers documented everything, understanding that humans had changed the way they would approach interstellar relations. This was not simply a matter of exploration. It was a demonstration of human ingenuity, adaptability, and resilience. Finally, the human ship reached open space beyond the Empire's core systems. The captain allowed themselves a quiet sigh of relief. "We made it," they said softly. "Every step has been precise, careful, and deliberate, and yet we did it. We are humans, and we have proven that we can step where few dared to go before." The crew smiled quietly, knowing that they had achieved something extraordinary, not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. Back in the Empire's command room, officers reviewed the records. The humans had passed through controlled territory without aggression, without error, and with remarkable skill. "They have changed everything," one officer admitted. "We misjudged them entirely. They are no longer a minor species to dismiss. They are capable, intelligent, and strategic." The commander nodded. "We must approach humanity differently from now on. They have proven their worth, and we cannot ignore their presence in the galaxy." The humans, unaware of the full impact they had made, continued on their course. Their mission remained the same: to explore, learn, and return knowledge safely. Yet every observation, every maneuver, and every moment of calm focus had already left an indelible impression on the Empire. Humans, once underestimated and dismissed, had earned recognition, respect, and cautious admiration. The journey had proven many things: that humans could survive in the most challenging environments, that they could navigate complexity with intelligence and teamwork, and that courage combined with discipline could overcome even the most daunting obstacles. The Empire had witnessed not just the arrival of humans in their territory, but the arrival of a species capable of shaping the galaxy in ways previously unimagined. As the human ship moved further into uncharted space, a quiet sense of accomplishment filled the cabin. The crew knew that their mission was far from over, yet they also understood that this journey marked a turning point. They had not only explored new territories, they had changed perceptions, reshaped expectations, and proven that humanity was capable of far more than anyone had believed. The